film show anything else that was just like you thought? Anything come out of there?
Well, the film showed that we were a little lackluster coming out. They again, I mean, both teams had to deal with, hot day, sticky turf, the ball wasn't moving as well as we'd like. We have a half chance with Bruin, the ball's he's kind of waiting for it. Dempsey slips him in, Jordan's there. We go 1-0 up, it's a different story. But that again, I said it after the game, that storyline is getting a little tired. We need to go out on the front foot and impose our will and score the first goal. That's what we're trying to, that's what we're trying to do, especially at home.
How do you turn half chances into full chances?
Repetition, work. Just they got to believe that they can score. We got to give them the tools, the training. That's on us to make them feel good about how they're playing. Goal scorers are like that. They're streaky. They can be streaky. So we need to, make sure that they're getting what they need.
This offseason, we kind of talked about this potential kind of situation coming up where you're kind of facing your first kind of real slump, I guess you can maybe call this. I mean, how has it been different as the guy in charge when the team is maybe scuffing a little bit?
I would say that it's a mini slump because again, this is the tired storyline. If you look at the statistical stuff, even against Vancouver when we're ahead for 70 minutes,
right.
And you look at New England and you look at LA and you look at the last game. Okay, each game is subtly different, but I mean we're murdering teams in possession, our final third possession, but we're shooting ourselves in the foot every single game in a different fashion. I mean, only the game against the Galaxy we didn't. We were able to sustain or reward ourselves, I'll say, for good play. So it's not like the team has been in a funk and it plays horrible. I don't think our first 45 Saturday was great, but again, in the second half we turned it up a little bit and just couldn't find the equalizer. So how does that change from last year? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was 14 games in, just thrust with a here you go, see what you can do type of thing. Now it's back to film, talking to the players, getting their feedback, figuring out ways how we're going to go on the road and get a result in Chicago. And it's just, you got to keep moving. You got to keep moving. I think our trainings have, been good. I think the spirit, when you guys come out here and watch, the spirit of the group is still good. I mean, Dempsey afterwards was like, oh, come on, we'll get this, don't worry, let's get this. He's kind of around the locker room. Ozzy's been like that. It's not like the guys have given up. So I'd call it a mini slump, and we just got to work on it.
Speaking of that possession, how can you create and do more with that possession with purposes that maybe taking more mid-range shots?
Well, I think we need to just play a little faster because, look, once teams bunker in, that's hard for any team in this league, right? And they played 5-4-1, and Josie was motivated. Their team was motivated, so they made it difficult on us. So getting out in transition, creating a half a chance a little earlier, then look, if a guy's running down the wing and I'm looking to slide him in, I can either slide him in and he's in on goal, or I can still make that decision, okay, it's not quite on, I'm going to keep it and we'll keep possession. But sometimes I don't know if we're able to see that pass or risk that pass to kind of stretch teams vertically before they are able to bunker.
Okay.
So we just need to play a little faster sometimes.
Do you get the impression that teams have studied what you guys have been doing possession-wise and are content to let you have the possession unless you change? Is that
Jeff, I would say so. And also that we're predominantly left-sided. So those are the two areas that we're going to try and fix.
Has despite playing well and having possession and everything, has that inspired you at all to have to do any larger tactical changes, on a big scale, or is it not time for that yet?
We're 9 games in. I mean, we've kicked it around, but again, just because the results haven't gone our way, the team's been playing okay. I still think that Ozzy, Christian, and building the team around that, and Nico's had success playing here, and Jordy's been a little dinged up, so maybe he's not quite there, but he's feeling better. There was no setbacks on the weekend, so we'll figure it out.
You kind of alluded to this, but I'm curious. You know, you look, no matter what numbers you look at, goals for, goals against, possession, shots, all that stuff, right? It all makes it look like, you know, you're playing pretty well. Like, it's not like the wheels are coming off, but maybe the results have come in an uneven, you know, they haven't been spread out maybe the way you would like them to be spread out. But does that buoy you guys, or does that actually make it more frustrating in some ways that you've played well and not necessarily had, like you said, the rewards of it?
Yeah, I think the players work too hard not to reward themselves, and I think that's the frustrating part, because they know they put the effort in, and they know they're playing pretty good soccer. So that's why after the game on Saturday, there were some frustrated guys in there. You know, we were all frustrated. I think the fans were frustrated. You know, so it's again something that we're cognizant of. So I guess that makes us sleep a little easier, but it also makes us more determined. It also makes us want to come out here and, you know, when we watch a film, have dialogue back and forth and say, okay, yeah, let's fix that, and let's try and be better at this, and we'll go from there.
It certainly seems like a very different Chicago team than the ones they've had the last couple of years. What do you think is behind all that?
Well, I think McCarty, Janino, and Schweinsteiger. I mean, all those guys are, I mean, obviously Schweinsteiger is a world-class player, but Dax and Janino have been very, very good players in this league. And that's a formidable midfield. I mean, you put some pieces around them, Nikolic, the guy up top, and, you know, it's a much better team.
I assume you have spent a lot of hours in your life watching the German national team and watching the Bundesliga. What kind of memories do you have of, or what did you think of Schweinsteiger in his, you know, in his heyday? And do you kind of, is it weird for you at all to be lining up against him, to be scouting against him?
I have watched a lot of games. He's a great player. Germany's had traditionally a good team. They've churned out a bunch of different players, but what I'm most thankful for, or some days when I'm thinking about it, I guess that was your question. When I'm thinking about it, I'm like going, I get to coach Clint Dempsey. I get to coach Nicolas Lodeiro. I have Gonzalo Pineda on my staff. I mean, there's World Cup veterans that I get to work with on a daily basis, and that to me is much better than, you know, lining my team up against, you know, a really good player.
When you have a couple of games coming up that are going to be so close together, is that something that you're going to be looking for in regards of bringing up maybe some players that haven't played, or?
It's all hands on deck. I mean, you see we're light numbers because of the injury count, so we'll address that tomorrow and through the week, because today is just regen and guys, you know, are on their own, but, you know, we'll address that.
In regards to injuries, how is Jordan? He seemed like he was not really 100. I mean, I'm not
it's
really
just
sure.
that he's getting better. Little setback in New England, getting better again.
How's Evans looking?
Good. He was out here training full. Tomorrow we're going to have a 45-minute little scrimmage. It'll be good. Good test for him.
Henry Wingle wasn't on the bench on Saturday. Was that coach's decision or injury?
Sprained his ankle out here last day before training.
What's the process there? Is he?
Not good. He won't be featured in this road trip. I'll tell you that.
Totally different subject. You obviously have some history with Tacoma. You were recently even honored by the Stars. What did you think of this development with S2 potentially moving down to Tacoma?
It's big news. I mean, the Northwest is a good soccer community, and when we say Northwest, you can include Vancouver, Portland, Seattle, all that. If you're sticking to the state of Washington, you could say Seattle, Tacoma. You know, there's lots of soccer being played up in Bellingham and, you know, Everett and places like that. So it should be interesting. I mean, it's great for the organization in many ways that there's some, you know, real dollars being invested in a soccer stadium. And, you know, it should be a really nice venue to watch games. I mean, for the Rainiers. I've been to one Rainier game in my life and probably go see a few more now, but, you know, you go on a nice afternoon and you're enjoying good company and watching sports. I mean, it's good.
That's a city that produced a couple of coaches that you've coached against, or at least they spent some time down there. Caleb, I think, Bruce Arena for
Well, that was
had a
year-
little
Bruce was years
snapshot.
ago.
With, like,
He was years
cup
ago.
of coffee down there.
Yeah.
Preki count.
What,
Yeah.
what does it mean to kind of further that part of Puget Sound's soccer history, kind of help reignite it a bit?
Well, I would think that from a club standpoint, so from Joe and Adrian and everybody in our organization that started the MLS club, we've always thought ourselves of a big club. And, you know, is this the start of something big? Yes, I think it is. I think it's something that will help increase the, soccer market here. Tacoma's not far enough away that I can't go and watch the S2 games. I'll be happy to do that. But it gives the people down in the South End some, a glimpse at future stars. So I think it's good.
For those who might not know, what were Tacoma Stars games back like when it was really when the Tacoma Dome was?
Well, I remember when Jungle and Preki were there, they had 18,000 in there. It was pretty raucous. It was pretty loud. Darren Sawatsky's doing a good job now with the rebirth of the Stars, even in Showware Center. I mean, they get a couple thousand people in there. It's a good event. It's a good Saturday evening.